have you ever stopped to think about it? While millions of Americans are struggling for jobs in technology companies, the most famous, there exists a select group of professionals earning a fortune to absolute lengths to what anyone else says. I'm talking about the jobs that go completely unnoticed, but one that transforms ordinary people into millionaires with low noise levels. And what's amazing, the majority of these jobs are desperately in need of talent at this very moment in time. Today, I am going to reveal the 9 areas that are creating a new class of millionaires in the United States. You've probably never heard of most of them. Get ready, because at the numbers that you are about to find out will completely change your perspective on wealth and opportunity in America. The inconvenient truth is that, while all of them are at the back of many of the same positions that are self-evident, there is a blue ocean of financial opportunities as they are completely overlooked. And it's not a coincidence. It's just the way that the fortunes of the silent houses are built from the spotlight, away from the cutthroat competition. But it's definitely not too far away from the money. Let's start with the 9th, and I assure you that the last place will leave you jaw-dropped. The position of 9. The operator of a nuclear power plant. While everyone in the world wants to work on their startups to cool, there is a group of professionals managing the energy that it literally keeps America running. The operators of the nuclear power plant will not only earn the salaries and extraordinary, they will build empires for financial silence. The base salary mean? We're talking about $102,000 a year. But here's the secret that no one account. With extra turns, a bonus for the risk, and the progression of his career, many experienced traders will easily outweigh $150,000 a year. And that's just the beginning. Think about it. As long as your friends are currently working 80 hours a week at the offices of technology and hoping for the stock options they might not appreciate, nuclear operators are earning real money, consistently month after month, year after year after year, without having to depend on rounds of funding or stake themselves. The most fascinating? The demand is exploding. With the revival of nuclear power in the United States and the aging of the workforce, companies are literally begging for new talent. And when the demand exceeds the brutality in the provision of, what happens with the salary? But here's the real coup, the master. With the safety on the job is almost guaranteed. Nuclear power plants are not simply outsourcing or automate. This is my position. You are controlling the nuclear reactions that provide energy for millions of people. It means financial stability, to the contrary, to build wealth over the long term. And the benefits? Health insurance premium, pension, rugged, often with generous contributions from the employer. We're talking about is a complete package that dramatically accelerates the journey to your first million. Position in the 8-manager air traffic control. Imagine that you win most of the doctors without having to spend a decade in school, or earn you hundreds of thousands in debt and student. Sounds too good to be true? Welcome to the world of the management of air traffic. The average salary? Be prepared. $131,000 a year. But that's just the entrance. Managers experienced in the airport handled easily reach $150,000 to $200,000 a year. And we're not talking about isolated incidents, and we're talking about the standard. Here it is. What makes such a career is absolutely brilliant. You're literally controlling the heavens of the Americas. Each and every plane that takes off and lands on the following of your instructions. This is a level of responsibility to come up with compensation in the same proportion. If you are struck up to now, subscribe to the channel to Uncovered. Tap the bell to receive notifications of the new videos that are going to change your perspective on career and wealth in the United States of America. And please share this video with someone who needs to discover these opportunities are hidden. Your friends will thank you for. Career advancement is a meteorite. You start off as a driver, a junior, and in a few years, and with good performance, it may be managing the entire operations of a major international airport. And with each promotion, your earnings to give you the hops to be significant. But we're going to talk about the elephant in the room for the nerve. Yes, it is a demanding profession. You are making the decisions in a fraction of a second that have an impact on the lives. But here's the thing, the aim of the stress is exactly that keeps wages immense, and the contest was relatively low. While the majority of the people can flee from that of pressure, and those who embrace it are rewarded financially in a way that's unmatched. What's more, early retirement. Many of the managers and air traffic controllers may retire with full board for the past 50 years. A millionaire and retired into the house from the 50s, when you still have the energy and health to enjoy every penny of it. The truth is that as long as you are working in a career high intensity for 2 or 3 decades from now, then you are accumulating wealth at record-breaking speed. Do the math, $150,000 per year for 25 years. By investing only at 20% in returns the average of the market. Are you looking for a net worth millionaire several times over before the 55 years of age? Position number 7. The manager of a construction specialist here's an occupation that is creating millionaires quietly, especially on the specific niches such as construction, data centers, facilities, pharmaceutical, and energy infrastructure. The base salary? We are in the $135,000. But here's where it gets interesting. The project management specialist in the areas of high technology, often to run the packages from $200,000 to $300,000 a year. And on the projects in large scale, some go beyond $500,000. Think about it. As long as the whole of the world romanticizes careers in business, these people are quite literally building up for the America of the future, and being paid like a king for it. Each data center is that it comes in, each and every plant in semiconductors, each of the renewable energy facility, someone else is managing such a facility multimillionaire. The secret? Expertise. Anyone can manage a residential basis. But how many people get deep into the technical requirements of a clean room, pharmaceutical grade 10,000? Or the complexities of building a data center in hyperescala with the redundancy of energy to another? His lack of expertise, it creates a dynamic that is a financial issue. Companies spending billions on critical infrastructure are not going to take the risk, saving the manager who coordinates it all. They will pay you whatever is needed to ensure that the best talent. And here it is, the multiplier. The real wealth of many of these managers is to eventually open his own business consulting firm. All of a sudden you're no longer earning a paycheck, you're making money of $500 an hour or more. Do that for a couple of years old with multiple contracts together, and you're looking out for the annual income of a 7-digit number. The barrier to entry is not as high as you might think. Yes, you need to experience in the construction and monitoring of the management of the project. But, compared to that of becoming a doctor or a lawyer, it's with a fraction of the time and financial investment. The position 6, an expert in compliance. Pharmaceuticals. This is one of the careers with the most understated and highly profitable that there are. As you all know, researchers, pharmacists, almost no one talks about the compliance experts to ensure that all follow the regulations of the Food and Drug Administration. Average earnings? $145,000. But the specialists of senior citizens in large pharma, easily reaching the $221,000 to $281,000 a year. And compliance officers, we're talking about $250,000 or more. The reason for this is simple and brutal. A single error compliance can cost up to one of the hundreds of millions in fines, delays in the approval or product recalls. For this reason, these companies pay a fortune for a professional who will ensure that everything is perfect. Here it is what makes such a career, especially an attractive one. The demand is increasing exponentially. New gene therapies, drugs, biologics, complex and increasingly stringent regulations, and the need for experts in compliance, it has never been so high. The work on you. It is not brain surgery physical. You're reviewing processes, documented procedures, conducting audits. Of course, you need to painstaking attention to detail and in-depth understanding of the rules, but it's not saving lives in the emergency room at 3 in the morning. Leave in the comments which one of these careers you would consider to be below. And do you know anyone in any of these jobs? Tell us about your experience. The typical path involves starting with a degree in biological sciences, chemistry, mathematics, or a related field. Once you get the certifications on specific regulatory issues, within the next 5 to 7 years, you could be earning more than most of the resident doctors with no debt, student mass in medicine. And it has a bonus feature is rarely discussed. The economic stability of the absolute. People are always in need of medication. The regulations will always be there. Your skills will always be needed in any of the business cycle. The position of senior commercial pilot. Now we have entered in the territory of the seriously profitable. Line pilots aren't exactly unknown, but what is unknown is the real numbers, that is, when the captains of companies are winning. We're talking about a salary which is the basis of the average of the $161,000 to pilot trade in general. But the captains long-haul large companies, such as Delta, United, or American, are so many $3,000, $350,000 a year. And this is just the base salary. Add in the bonuses, overtime, and international assignments and other benefits, and many of the captains and senior exceed $250,000 a year. Some of the most experienced in the routes to premium get close to $500,000 per year. But here's the real secret to building wealth: the style of life. Unlike corporate executives working 60 to 70 hours a week, and the pilots have the strict limits on hours of flight time per federal regulations, many are actually 15 and 17 days in each month. A win with $350,000 working half of each month. What do you do with all that free time and a substantial income? Many in the field to invest in real estate, business, parallel, or simply to invest aggressively in the financial markets. The pension is also eye-catching. Pensions, robust benefits, life, travel, and how to retire relatively early age, usually at the age of 65, but many of the stocks have voluntarily in the past. You still have a few decades to make the most of your accumulated wealth. The upfront investment. Yes, you have to pay for the flight training, usually of $80,000 to $100,000. But think of it as medicine or law, less time, less cost, and you're earning wages for a six-figure substantially earlier in life. And demand? With a wave of the mass retirement of the pilots of the baby boomer generation, and the continuous growth of air traffic globally, airlines are currently desperate for skilled pilots. This means the sign-up bonus, training programs, subsidies, and career advancement just as fast. The position of 4 engineers in the oil now we have entered in the territory is where things get really serious in terms of set-off. The engineers of the oil is the best-kept secret in the creation of wealth in the United States of America. Average earnings? $145,000. But this is only the beginning. Experienced engineers working on offshore projects specializing in fracking regularly to earn the $251,000 to $350,000 a year. Engineers and consultants, some of the bills more than $500,000 a year. Here it is what makes this work is absolutely remarkable in terms of the creation of wealth. The bonus features. When you are involved in to find out or improve the oil field, which generates billions in revenue, the bonus can be astronomical. It is not uncommon to see a bonus, an annual $51,000 to $150,000, in addition to the base salary. Let's do the quick maths. Basic salary of $250,000 and a bonus of $100,000, you're looking at about $350,000 a year. Work like that for 15 or 20 years ago in order to invest wisely, and you'll be easily on the territory of the net worth from $5 to $10 million. But the luck of this profession, in which case the wealth is even faster. Opportunities for the consumer. For petroleum engineers experienced, often receive offers to join in with the startup of the power supply or smaller companies with a stake. When one of these companies were acquired or opens in the capital, some of the engineers have agreed to bowl for the night and the day. Please subscribe to the channel too. Uncovered for now, we're coming up on the careers that truly make the greatest treasures, and is one you won't want to miss. Turn on notifications to be the first one to discover a career that can change your financial life. The global nature of this industry, it also opens the door to amazing. For petroleum engineers to work on projects in the Gulf of Mexico, Texas, Alaska, and when you will go to international opportunities, and the compensation packages that include housing paid for, the vehicle's range and difficulty, and the tax relief which could effectively double their net income. And contrary to what you might think about the future of fossil fuels, the reality is that oil and gas will continue to be crucial for the decades to come. Even with renewable energy increase, the transition will be a long one, and the engineers and the oil will continue to be in high demand. Position 3, now we got on the podium of the professions the most profitable. Anesthesiologists are giants in the quiet of the world. A doctor, earning a fortune while the surgeons to get all of the attention. The average salary? Hang in there, $405,000 a year. However, this is only an average. Anesthesiologists on the privacy practices of successful or working in the medical centers of the elite to regularly earn a $500,000 to $650,000 per year. And a few of the most well-known are exceeding $500,000 a year. Do the maths, $500,000 a year. Even with the high taxes and cost of living, and if you invest in only 30% of their income, then you are adding to $150,000 to its stockholders each year. Over the next 20 years with returns that compound, you'll be looking at a net worth of $10 million or more. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. Subject and offers a work-life balance is relatively better than that of other medical specialties such as the high pay. You are not being called for an emergency in the middle of the night such as cardiac surgeons. You are not managing your patients in the complex for 2 weeks as the intensivistas. His work is focused on technical and high-priced. You are administering anesthesia, monitoring of the patient during the surgery, and you're done. With no follow-up is prolonged, with no emergency calls with a constant in many cases. It's a long way to 4 years of college, 4 years of medical, or 4 years of residency. But to compare it with the final results that you're making in a year, many people make in a decade. And you will have a career of 31 to 35 years and older the upfront to do so. The demand is insatiable. The surgical procedures are on the increase with the aging of the population of the United States. Each surgery will need an anesthesiologist in. To you, it is necessary. And here's a secret. A lot of the anesthesiologists working in the model agreements that will allow them to choose their hours and the hospital. It means freedom in order to maximize the gains of working on multiple sites, or by selecting the contracts are the most profitable. Position 2. A neurosurgeon might now, we're in the stratosphere of the compensation of a physician. Neurosurgeons are the artists of the elite in the medical field, and its earnings to reflect that at all. Wages mean in national, $609,000 US per year. But this average conceals the truth of the story. Neurosurgeons in large urban centers and centers of academic prestige to easily run on $750,000 to $100,000 a year. And the best, up to $1 million per year is not uncommon. Just think of the magnitude of it. There are almost $1 million a year. You are getting into the territory where you can earn your first million in shareholders' equity for literally a year or two ago, while living comfortably and pay all of the taxes. The reason for this is compensation for the extraordinary. Are you working with the body in the most complex in the human body? You are currently removing tumors of the brain, repairing the aneurysm, making surgery of the spine is incredibly delicate. The level of skill, training, and responsibility, it is absolutely amazing. But let's be honest about the cost. The path to becoming a neurosurgeon is a brutal affair. A 4-year college and foreign medicine, and after a 7-year residency in neurosurgery, one of the residencies in the more demanding of you there is. We are talking of 80 to 100 hours of work weekly for years. However, when you emerge on the other side, you are not a professional well paid in the world. And unlike many of the other occupations in the high income, and you have the safety of a job site, there will always be a need for a neurosurgeon. The way of life is challenging surgeries that can last for 12 to 16 hours, and you are on call on a regular basis. But the financial compensation and reputation are second to none. And many neurosurgeons love that is genuinely the work. You are literally saving lives and recovering the functions that would be lost without their intervention. What is the career of these did you think was the most surprising so far? Comment below what you would never have imagined that I paid so well. Here's the interesting thing about the building of wealth at this level. With an annual income up to $750,000, you can simultaneously live a lifestyle that is exceptional and accumulate wealth at breakneck speed. Despite being a conservative and a saving of only 30%, you are adding more than $200 billion holdings on a yearly basis. In the 15 to 25 years of practice, and neurosurgeons as well in the past, often to accumulate assets, net of 15 to 30 millions of dollars. And not to mention the investment in the real estate business or any other developments that these practitioners often ask. The position of a surgeon orthopedic specialist, and we have arrived at the absolute top of the profession, it silently creates the most millionaires in the United States than almost any other orthopedic surgery specialist, especially the surgeons of the spine and joint replacement. Get ready for these figures, and the average earnings for orthopedic surgeons is the $573,000. But this, once again, this is only an average, which includes both undergraduates and practices in the minors. Orthopedic surgeons are established on the privacy practices of successful, routinely earn $601,000, $1,200,000 a year. And the super specialist surgeons of the spine is complex, specialist in replacement of hip and knee surgeons, hand microchirurgica, many exceeding $1,500,000 a year. Some of orthopedic surgeons more successful in large metropolitan areas, they gain $2 or $3 million each year. Allow it to penetrate to $1,500,000 a year. Even after taxes are important, you are taking it to the house about $100,000. If you are to save money and invest in only the half of it, $450,000 a year, a decade you'll get up to $4,500,000 only do you save without regard to the growth of the investment. But here's where it gets truly remarkable models from the private practice. Many orthopedic surgeons from the success of members in the centers of the surgical outpatient. This means that, in addition to their winnings in surgery, they receive a share in the profits of the premises. Some of these surgeons literally have bits and pieces of the surgery centers that generate millions in annual revenue. All of a sudden, you're not just earning a paycheck as a surgeon, you're getting hundreds of thousands, such as the owner of the business. The mathematics for the creation of wealth, it becomes ridiculous at this level. We're going to be a conservative $1 million per year, in contrast to surgery over $300,000 to share in the profits of the surgery. This is $1,300,000 a year. We'll work well for 20 years, investing the 40% of the income, and you'll be looking at a net worth of $30 to $50 million. And here's the kicker. The demand for orthopedic surgeons is blowing up. The American population is aging dramatically. Boomers are reaching the age where they need replacement of the hip, knee, surgery of the spine. And this demand is only going to grow over the next 2 decades. But we're going to talk honestly about it. The way is a long and brutal. A 4-year college and 4 in medicine, a 5-year residency in orthopedics, some of the most competitive and demanding that they exist. Then the many-year fellowship, an additional 1 to 2 years of specialization. We're talking about a 15 to 16 years old in training to post-secondary education, and while in the home, you are working from 80 to 100 hours a week, earning a $60,000 to $70,000 a year, while backing up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and student. It is absolutely brutal. But when you come out on the other side, you are a professional, well paid in the world. And unlike some of the other professionals of the highest income can be volatile, dependent on the market, you will have the security of a job site. People are always in need of orthopedic surgeries. The style of your life can be challenging surgeries. Starting early, you can have 3 to 6 surgeries in one day, you're in charge. But many orthopedic surgeons are genuinely loves to work. You are restoring mobility, eliminating chronic pain, allowing for people to come and live it to the full. And here's something that you just discuss. To the satisfaction of the patient, the orthopedic hit is usually very high. To the contrary, some of the medical specialties where the outcome is uncertain, we replace it with a hip destroyed by the arthritis that has usually completely transformed the quality of one's life. This feedback is positive and constant, makes the job incredibly fulfilling. Now, you may be thinking, oh, what about your medical education? It's so expensive. Yes, it's true. You can get out of the medical school with about $300,000 to $400,000 in debt. But here is the view: when you're earning $1 million a year, you can aggressively pay off this debt in the next 2 to 3 years, while still living comfortably. And then you've got 25 to 30 years of extraordinary gains from the front. Think of it as someone who avoids a debt to the student body, but what you get in 60,000 a year on a career in the traditional sense. 30 years ago, that person will win $1,800,000 in full without adjusting for inflation or increases. An orthopedic surgeon, you can get it in 2 years. Which of the following professions are most surprised you? Do you know anyone in any of these careers? Share it in the comments, your experiences, or ask questions about these career paths. But we are going to address the elephant in the room. These are careers. On the top of that, they are accessible to the common people. The honest answer is this: some of them are more affordable than others, but they all require a commitment to the extraordinary. The medicine requires not only the intelligence and unwavering commitment. You have to be willing to give her the 20 and 30 years old for intense training. But if you are willing to do so, the payback is absolutely amazing. For the technical professions such as engineering, petroleum, management, construction, expert, or even to become a pilot, they are the most accessible in terms of time and investment in the home, though it still requires the dedication and skills. And here's a fundamental truth: all of these professions, they share one thing in common. They all require specialized skills that cannot be easily replicated or automated. You can't replace it, a neurosurgeon, with the AI. You can't fully automate the air traffic flow management. These are the human body's abilities to a high value, which will always be offset against the premium. Another feature common to all of these professions: have no barriers to entry are significant. It is education for a long, rigorous training, and certifications to be difficult or work in challenging conditions. And that's exactly why we pay so well. If it were easy, everyone would do it and your salary doesn't carry them. But for those who are willing to invest in yourself, overcome challenges, and master the skills to complex, the financial rewards are quite extraordinary. Right now, we are going to talk about something that is critical to connecting with all of those careers and the importance of starting early and investing smartly. Even in a profession is the highest paid in the world is not going to build wealth generational. And if you have to spend all that earn, the secret of the super rich are silent on those jobs is not just what they get, is what they do with that what you will earn. Most live below your means and investing aggressively, and let the power of compound interest to work for decades to come. An orthopedic surgeon gaining in $1 million a year to spend $100,000 would be less rich than a manager. Air traffic controllers earning $181,000, which is living with the $81,000 and invest the rest for the next 30 years. The simple math. But a lot of people do not know him. And here's something fascinating. A lot of professionals and the most rich in these areas does not boast. You don't see the anesthesiologists, the ultra-wealthy, by posting pictures of Lamborghinis on Instagram. They are quietly amassing portfolios of investment for multi-million-dollar plan to retire at 55 years ago, purchasing real estate to rent. This is real wealth, not to look for wealth, financial freedom, and true. With the ability to choose whether you want to work with, you do not need to work. The ability to make decisions in life based on your values and passions is not in need of financial assistance. The other thing that connects these years that the impact is real. You're not selling ads or optimizing rates. Click-through. Are you keeping aircraft safe in heaven and providing power to the millions, saving lives on the operating table? and building critical infrastructure. There is something deeply satisfying in doing the work that matters to development, while also being remarkably compensated financially. You don't have to choose between making a difference and making good money. Those roles will prove that you can have both. But let's be realistic about the difficulty. These are the roles of a 40-hour per week, with the perfect balance between work and personal lives. Especially in the medical professions, are you looking for the decades of hard work? Holidays lost, events, family members are lost when they come to be significant. The question that every person must answer for themselves. For this kind of sacrifice is well worth it to you? There is no right or wrong answer. Some of the people in favor of free time most of all. Some are willing to trade time in their youth for financial security extraordinary later on. The important thing is to make that choice consciously, realizing fully the trading partners involved. If you like this content, the developer, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, Salary Uncovered, to give her a like and share with your friends who need to find these deals. Your feedback and engagement can help us bring you more content like this. We are also going to be talking about the importance of networking in these occupations. In many of these fields, particularly medicine and engineering in the oil, who do you know that you can be just as important as what you know? Orthopedic surgeons, as well known, often build on the practices through referrals from other physicians. The engineers of the oil to get you the best projects by number of connections in the industry. The managers of the construction of the specialized win lucrative contracts because they have built a reputation over the years. This means that, in addition to mastering the technical skills, you will have to invest in relationships and professional. To participate in a conference, joining a trade association, to keep in touch with friends and mentors. The network is becoming more and more valuable in the course of his career. And here is something that lots of people do not take into account: the level of geographical mobility in these occupations. Many of the opportunities for profit are not necessarily in cities with more self-explanatory. For example, the orthopedic surgeons in rural areas or small towns, often earning much more than in the big cities, but at the cost of life is dramatically lower. For a surgeon winning $900 billion in a small town in Texas or Tennessee, you will accumulate wealth a lot faster than making $1 million in Manhattan and San Francisco. Similarly, an engineer in the oil are willing to work in remote locations and offshore in the Persian Gulf north of Alaska. The rural areas in Texas often learn the prizes are substantial and the basic wage is already higher. The provision is to be geographically flexible. In particular, at the beginning of your career, you can dramatically accelerate your path to accumulating wealth. The other key factor, education and DC. In all of these professions, the learning never stops. Medical techniques are evolving, technology, construction progress, evaluation of pharmaceutical change, as well as aviation upgrade. The professionals the most successful and well-paid for those of you who are continuing to invest in education in the course of his career. This may mean additional certifications, fellowships, conferences, and specialized training. This is an ongoing investment in yourself to keep you at the top of the profession and provides background to offset the premium. We will also discuss the time. When is the right time for you to step into one of these professions? The short answer, the sooner the better, especially for the medical professions that require 12 to 15 years of training, and get started on the journey at the age of 18 versus 25th day makes a huge difference. But here's the good news. It's never too late to start some of the other well. The people make the transition to the engineering, construction management, or even in aviation in their 30s and even 40s. Although careers in the medical to be more challenging to get late, it's not impossible. The point is this: if you're reading this and saying to yourself, "It's too late for me," imagine. You have decades of working life ahead of them. For a change of career, a strategic, now you can completely transform your career and financial. Speaking of change, we are going to discuss the power of the pivot to a career in this profession. For example, many of the engineers in the oil, eventually it will go into consulting firm or open their own businesses. Pilot and retired frequently, and if they become instructors or consultants for aviation security. Doctors can pivot to healthcare administration, consulting with a pharmacist, or a witness expert of the law. All fields of amazingly profitable that you take advantage of their expertise in health in different ways. This flexibility means that, even in these careers you already are profitable, there are ways to increase your income over time. And here it is, a fact that is little discussed is that many of the professionals with the highest income in those areas work with multiple sources of income. The one he can take practice, but it will also work as a consultant to the pharmaceutical companies, or to teach it in the schools of medicine, or to write technical manuals. Orthopedic surgeons often play a role in surgical centers, consult to manufacturers of medical devices, or for investing in startups in medical technology. these secondary sources of income and are built upon the credibility of their careers with the key, you could add hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. The lesson? Think of your career as a single track, but also as a platform to build multiple streams of income from time to time. Right now, we're going to address a crucial issue that affects all of these professions, include applicable taxes. When you're making $500,000 to $1 million or more annually in taxes if you make your biggest expense. Without a proper design, you are able to deliver a 40 to 50% of their income to the government. It is for this reason that professionals and high net in these careers work with the accountants and specialist financial advisors. Strategies for how to incorporate them into practice to maximize contributions to retirement, invest in real estate with tax advantages, and the use of investment vehicles and with the effectiveness of tax can save you hundreds or thousands of dollars each year. The difference between someone winning $100,000 in tax planning sophisticated versus someone earning the same as without a plan can easily be $150,000 to $200,000 per year in tax savings in the course of a career, but this is literally millions of dollars. Don't underestimate the importance of the expertise of a financial professional when you're in those income brackets. We are also going to talk about an aspect of the legacy of such a career. When you are accumulation at this level, you are not only ensuring your future, you're creating opportunities for others, for your family. You can pay for the education of their children in debt. You can log in on their first homes. You can create a trust that is a guarantee of financial security for generations to come. You can make contributions that are significant to the causes that matter most to you. In this capacity, the impact goes far beyond the compensation of the staffs. It's about creating a lasting legacy for the security and opportunity. And here is the model. Many of the practitioners have more success in these areas come from modest backgrounds. It is not necessary to come from the rich to build wealth in these occupations. All you need is determination and the ability to delay gratification and a willingness to do the hard work. Some of the surgeons are the highest paid of America, have grown up in families of the working class. Many of the main drivers for this came from a small town with no connection to the aviation. The engineers of the oil for first-generation college are making a fortune. The common denominator. It is not a privilege. It is persistence, hard work, and strategic choices. This brings us to an important point about the mindset. To have a remarkable success in these careers, you need to think differently about risk, investment, and growth in the long term. You have to be willing to invest the years of education and training before you can see significant returns. You need to be comfortable with that huge responsibility. You need to embrace lifelong learning as a way of life. It's not just a phase. But for those of you with this in mind, the rewards are quite extraordinary. Like to know the career that is quietly creating a millionaire. So sign up now on the channel. Salary Uncovered. Turn on the bell to not miss anything in the video. Leave a like and share it with someone who needs to see this. And tell me in the comments which one of these occupations would you consider to go. Their interactions can help us to create more content by revealing how this one. We will also discuss the importance of choosing the career that's right for you. It's not just the one that pays the most. Yes, neurosurgery and pay so well, but if you faint when you see blood, it's probably not the right choice for you no matter what the pay. In the same way, if you are afraid of heights, to be a pilot may not work properly. If you do not take the responsibility for intense and quick decision-making and the management of traffic, the air is going to be excruciating. The success of a true coming of line up your natural abilities, interests, and values, and with a career also pays off so well. This is the time when your job to seem to just work, and it's a calling to be profitable. The other crucial thing, resilience, mental well-being. All of these careers as they come with significant pressure. Lives depend on you, and projects from the beginning to rely on their decisions, and regulations are complex, need to be browsed smoothly. The ability to maintain composure under pressure, and to learn from the mistakes without being destroyed by them, and keep moving forward even when the going gets tough. These mental skills are just as important as technical know-how. Luckily, these are skills that can be developed. Through experience, mentorship, and at times therapy or coaching, you can build the mental resilience needed to succeed in these profession standards. Speaking on the mentoring process, this is something that's absolutely critical. You can't be underestimated. Have a mentor who has already navigated the path you are walking is priceless. They can help guide you through the making of his career, to help them avoid some of the pitfalls common to open ports to the network, and provide a perspective for when you're in the midst of trials. Many of the professionals, the most successful of these areas, they attribute much of their success to the mentors are key at the crucial moments. Actively searching for mentors. Join professional organizations. Treat yourself to learn from senior citizens. The advice you receive, you can literally be worth millions in the course of his career. Right now, we are going to talk about the future of our jobs. With automation, AI, and pace of technological change, what careers will continue to be for profit to the test in the near future? Well, the good news is that nearly all the professions who argue they have a strong protection against the products. Complex surgery will always require judgment and dexterity of a human. Piloting a commercial aircraft that requires human decision-making in the case of an emergency. Manage the project of the construction of the complex needs of the human body's abilities to coordinate and solve the problems. In fact, the extent to which the technology is advancing, many of these professions have become more, not less, valuable. New medical technologies that are in need for surgeons who are trained to operate them. Aircraft of the more sophisticated needs of the drivers qualified in this field. Regulations more complex, increasing the demand for experts in regulatory compliance. So, you're not only choosing a career in the lucrative today, you're choosing one that is likely to remain profitable for decades to come. Another factor that is important future. Demographic changes in the United States of America. The world's population is aging rapidly. Boomers are coming up to the years they need medical care, while orthopedic surgeries, procedures, or neurological anesthesia for a wide variety of treatments are available. This means that the demand for the medical professionals of the high level of expertise is going to blow up in the next couple of decades. If you are starting out in a career in medicine right now, you're entering a market that's only going to get the most favorable financing. Similarly, the infrastructure of the United States become older. Bridges, power systems, industrial, all you need for the updates in bulk. This means a growing demand for engineers and managers in the building for decades to come. People who argue they are not just a profit right now, but they are placed so that they become even more valuable in the future. We also have to recognize that this career is not for everyone, and that's okay. The point of this video isn't that everyone should drop everything and become a neurosurgeon. The point of this is to open your eyes to the opportunities that exist in addition to the career paths clear and super expostos. Maybe you'll find out which one of these occupations is perfectly aligned with your skills and goals. Or maybe it can inspire you in your search for other specialized fields, and is well paid that is they are not on the radar of the vast majority of people. The goal is to expand your perspective on what is possible in terms of revenue and the building of wealth in the United States of America. And here is the final truth and powerful: all of these professions were chosen because of ordinary people who have decided to invest in them. None of the surgeons of the very rich, the writers as well in the past, engineers are successful, was born into their position. Do they have a choice? They chose to education of the difficult, easy entertaining. They chose to years of training in the instant gratification. They chose expertise, deep knowledge, only skin deep. And those choices have turned their financial lives completely. The question that remains is, what kind of choices will you make? That is the investment in yourselves. Are you willing to do today what will be paid extraordinary dividends for decades? Because here's the reality. 10 years from now, you're going to have 10 years of it anyway. The only question is whether you will have spent these last 10 years building towards something great or just letting life happen to you. The opportunities are out there. People who create the $1 million silent, they are actually hiring, training, and waiting for the next generation of professional power. The only question is, will you be one of them? These 9 areas that we explored today, for the operators of nuclear power plants and the orthopedic surgeons, they represent the paths that have been proven to extraordinary wealth in the United States of America. They are not schemes to get rich quick. They are not empty promises. Careers are established, decades-long history of creating professional, financially successful. Each requires an investment in terms of time and in education and skills development. Each one comes with its unique challenges and rewards for specific details, but they all share a fundamental feature: the ability to turn an ordinary person committed to a millionaire from time to time. The beauty of this career is that you do not rely on luck, timing the market is perfect, or the connections to the elite. They are depending on you to develop the skills, valuable and rare, then apply them consistently for years to come. There's a long way around that is to dream of new startups unicorn or viral on the TikTok, but it is much more reliable. While a million chasing dreams that is unlikely to wealth quickly, you may be quietly building up a financial empire through to specialist expertise and consistent work. This is the real secret of the super rich are silent. They have chosen the path of the least glamorous, but it is extraordinarily effective. They put a substance on the appearance of reality and fantasy, the construction of a long-term quick wins. And what was the result? Financial freedom is real. The ability to retire early if they want to. Safety and security for themselves and their families. The options in life than most people ever will. So what is your choice? You're going to continue to follow the career paths that all of the following, in competition with a million opportunities, are more likely than older people? Or are you going to exploit any of these trades, which are silently to create extraordinary wealth? In the decision, as always, it is up to you. Now that you have the information that the majority of people will never find out, you will know all the secrets of the areas that creates the ultra-wealthy are silent in the USA. What you do with that knowledge will determine your path to financial over the next several years and decades to come. Choose wisely. Invest in yourself, buy strategically. And remember, a journey of 1,000 miles, or in this case, the millions of dollars, it begins with a single step. We have reached the end of the video revealing. If you have found something of value here, please subscribe to the channel to uncover it right now. Leave a like for more people to be able to find this incredible. Please share this video with your friends and family members who need to learn about these career paths have been extraordinary. And let me know in the comments which of these new professions the most surprised you. Do you know anyone in any of these areas? Please share your experiences. Our commitment to help the channel grow and bring you more content, unique careers, and wages that no one is talking about. I'll see you in the next video.